Welcome to the Sports MVT Insider, a platform where we are unrelenting in covering our women in sports. And of course, we love celebrating those big moments, but also those small moments as well. And today we're focusing on the sport of hockey. Today I'm joined by a South African field hockey player, and she's also a student at the Northwest University. Her name is Christa Ramasimong. Christa, how are you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing very, very well. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sports MVT Insider. I would love for us to start our conversation here. How did your love for hockey actually begin?
My love for hockey began when I was in primary school. It started a bit late, primary school, grade 6. Because from grade 1, I used to be like an athlete. I used to run a lot. And then one of my coaches encouraged me to come trial for under 12 hockey team. And that's where it started. And then also I feel like the motivation behind it was me reading an article about my current role model in hockey, 𝗀𝗪𝗋, former SA captain as well. And like her story just gave me that push to continue and to love the game.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Let's talk a little bit about the balance between being a student athlete as well. I know that you're currently studying at the Northwest University. What are you studying? And also, how do you balance being an athlete and a student as well?
I'm going to be honest and say it took me 2 years to actually find the balance, because I think as a first year coming into varsity, and especially like doing teaching, you have practical that you have to do. I am currently studying Bachelor of Educational Science in Social Science and Life Skills, intermediate phase. So in my first year, it was a bit difficult coming from high school and, managing the sporting time and academic time. And also we used to train during classes and stuff. So I think that used to be a bit of a hustle. But then COVID came last year and I could actually find the balance between hockey and my academics. But carrying on to this year, I think it's actually not as difficult as it seems in the beginning to be a student athlete. I think, as you say, like if you find the balance, things work out for you.
Definitely. I would like to touch on what you just said. So you telling me that COVID was a slight blessing in disguise?
Yes, it was, because coming out of 2019, for me, that was my hockey peak year. We had so many tournaments coming from varsity and provincial sides. So it was a lot more hockey than academics. So then last year with the whole COVID situation, us going back home, I could actually focus on my academics and just be a student. So I think it was a blessing in disguise, but it was a bit, it was something to adjust to as well.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Now let's talk a little bit about sports in general, and for you specifically hockey. I mean, a lot of athletes talk about how sports completely changes who they are, the way in which they live their lives. How has sports, or hockey in your case, completely changed your life? I mean, on and off the turf.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if you can find the if you can find, for me, hockey is a refuge. Like I play hockey because it helps me take my mind off a lot of things, and it's like a second home for me. Do you understand? Like if I know when I'm stressed out, then I just go to the turf, hit a few balls, I'll come back and I'll be refreshed. And I feel like that's where the love for it comes, and it brings a different perspective into someone's life.
Beautiful. So often in sports, we talk about grassroots development, and we talk about the structures that one has to go through in order for you to play in the green and gold. I'd love for us to go through some of your structures and the journeys that you've gone through, and also how important it is for an athlete to go through these different phases.
Yeah. So I know from where I'm originally from Joburg. So the provincial team there is called Southern Gauteng. So I feel like for me personally, also as I said in the beginning of the interview, that I started very late. So it took a lot more time to get where other players were. And I feel like for me, the blessing was that I started hockey 2012, 2013. I had the privilege to go represent the province in Cape Town. And I think the journey started there where, you play every single year, you play provincial, and you just keep aiming higher and higher as a player, because you know that you can achieve more than just the little bit that you can or that you are achieving. So I feel like since under 15, I had the urge to now get to under 16 SA and then get my under 17 SA colors. So I feel like building up from district to provincial to national is a very important journey for a player, because I feel like throughout that whole process, you also learn, um, you also experience different views in that whole process.
Definitely. Let's shine a spotlight on 2019. You mentioned earlier that this was an absolutely incredible year for you. Let's talk about the varsity hockey tournament and winning that specific tournament for you. Tell us a little bit about the hard work that goes into winning a tournament like this, but also that feeling when you make a dream come true.
Yeah. So I remember 2019 coming in at Port. Northwest was never my option, actually. I was supposed to go to UP, University of Pretoria. And then I came early Jan, we started training, and I thought to myself, what is this? Like, it was hectic. We had like 3 sessions a day where we were training. We would do like 6 a.m. in the morning. You're at the turf, 12 a.m., you're doing individual sessions, 6 o'clock at night again, you're out training with the team. And I feel like for a first year coming into such an environment, it was such a privilege also to see that at the end, all that hard work came to pay off. Because yeah, it was crazy for me when we played that final against Maltese. Oh my word, it was just amazing. Because like I think we worked quite hard throughout the whole entire year, and also seeing that people are putting in so much work, to our coaches putting in work, it just came together. So it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We still stand as champions 2 years in a row.
Just putting it out there, just putting it out there, just in case you were wondering. Absolutely beautiful. You talk about it being such a great year, and of course, that great feeling of making a dream come true. But also, you were a debutant in the Premier Hockey League as well in 2019, as well, playing for the Orange River Rafters as well. It like 2019 was just a phenomenal year for you, wasn't it?
It was absolutely, like, I think out of my whole hockey career, that was my highlight year, because I feel like also coming from varsity cup and playing 𝗀𝗙𝗹𝗹𝗶, I kind of grew as a player, and that allowed me to get recognized by the drafters, and then I got drafted into the Rafters team, and it was also an amazing experience because I got to play with my role model as well.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. We touched on it earlier with regards to COVID-19. And yes, it might have been a blessing at that point in your life in 2019 where you were able to make the shift in terms of focusing on your academics. But unfortunately, at this point in time, COVID-19 isn't necessarily your best friend. We were looking at the 2021 Women's FIH Hockey Junior World Cup being hosted right here in South Africa. But unfortunately, that has now been cancelled due to the new variant of COVID-19 in South Africa. Tell us about the difficulties of just dealing with that moment, because I'm certain you being named as the co-captain, you were looking forward to this tournament.
Yes, I was. And to be truly honest with you, I am so gutted that it got postponed. We're still waiting for the information regarding the tournament. It might happen next year, early next year, we don't know. But it's really sad, because I know my teammates as well. My team we're going through a lot right now, because we put so much work and we've sacrificed so much to get where we are. And for us, it was even worse, because we were supposed to meet this weekend, and then like literally the day before, we got told it's on hold. So I feel like, yeah, it's a lot of emotions that we're dealing with currently as a team as well, because we also know that South African hockey, financially, we're not really, like, we're not there where we were supposed to be. So a lot of our parents and our families and our friends, donated, and we had like sponsors. So I feel like, yeah, it's a bit touching.
Yeah. And trust me, for us as South African hockey lovers, we're just hoping that the tournament goes ahead. Looking at what COVID has done to the sporting landscape in South Africa, it is incredibly sad. And hopefully you guys might be slightly disappointed right now, but maybe early next year, or maybe towards the middle part of next year, this tournament can be hosted again in South Africa as well. But I would like to look at your career in the coming years. What are some of the things that you would love to achieve, both academically as well as on the turf?
Academically, I would love to complete my degree next year, finish up, and go be a teacher somewhere in a private school, hopefully. And I would like to pursue my career in hockey as well. I'm looking forward to working very hard to be in the 2024 Olympics team or squad to be involved there. So those are my highlights for now for the upcoming years.
Absolutely beautiful.
You're locked onto the Sport MVT Insider, a podcast for unrelenting coverage of women in sport. I absolutely love diving deeper into the journeys of our athletes, coaches, and administrators to get to know them a little bit better than we do. Coming up this Wednesday is an interesting round of quick fire questions, a great opportunity for some good laughs and some great banter. Keep it locked onto Sport MVT, where we celebrate our women in sport.